What's up?
So good to see you. Thank you for being here. You look good.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Faith and Fame with Brittney Q. Hill. Joining me today is Stevie Baggs Jr. You might have seen him all over your TV screens. He's an actor, NFL veteran, thought leader, author, and so much more. Here to challenge our perspectives on men, the entertainment industry, and the power of your words. A very special episode of Faith and Fame starts now.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Faith and Fame, where we are bridging the gap between faith and entertainment. I am your host, Brittney Q. Hill, and y'all are in for a treat today. My guest, wait, hold on. Let me run it back, because before I introduce my guest, I need y'all to lock in. Go to the page, subscribe, like the video, share it with your family, your friends, because it is more than just a podcast. It's a movement. Now, back to my guest. I like to refer to him as somewhat of a wordsmith, somebody that's not afraid to press some buttons, challenge your perspective. He's an NFL veteran, a working actor, an author, all the things, thought leader. I'm gonna just get right to it. Without further ado, my boy, my homie, Stevie Baggs Jr. What up? What's up? How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I know you're going to bring it. So what's so special about this episode, Stevie is officially the first male guest of the season. And I hollered at him for a reason, because I know he's going to challenge us today. And I'm really excited about that.
Don't set the bar too high.
So I do like to start every episode with an icebreaker. So the question I have for you is, looking back on your life and experiences, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Yo, that's funny. I just had this conversation with one of my mentors, and I would say nothing, because I would not change anything in my past, because I wouldn't be who I am right now. And when you love who you are in the present, you don't want to change anything.
Come on.
You know, and so I'm constantly renewing my mind and my spirit and doing self-inventory, and I love that about me. So I wouldn't tell my 18-year-old self to do anything differently, honestly.
I second that. You're right, because if you would have changed any decision, any whatever, it would change the entire trajectory of your life.
You wouldn't be BQ Hill.
You,
that was the
say
case.
that again.
I'm
Run
just
me my
telling BQ Hill.
I love that.
But it's real, you know, and I think a lot of the times there are things that you would change if you had the mindset you have now at 18. Of course, you wouldn't do certain things.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be in the mindset that you are if you didn't go through those things.
That's real.
So, I mean, that's how I look at it.
That's real. I love that. So as you can see, nothing but positive energy radiating from you. So one thing that I have always admired about you from day one is how intentional you are with your choice of words, which is why I call you a wordsmith. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the semantics of faith and why the words that we use are so prevalent and why we should be intentional about it. Where did that come about? Like, have you always just been so intentional with your words, or is this something that evolved over time?
I think that growing up in the church, Pentecostal, Christian, like, you know how strict that is, right? Yes. And so I used to remember a verse that says, the power of the tongue speaks life and death. And they always used to say that. And then in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. Those two verses always stuck out to me. But now they mean something totally different than they meant to me at that time, even though it planted a seed for me to get to this point. Everything that we've been programmed to say and do in this particular society, in this establishment, is to keep you in bondage. From calling your children kids, a kid is a baby goat. If you want your children to stop acting like animals, stop calling them out of their name. If you take I'm not black, I'm indigenous. I gotta be greater than a color. If you take the B off of black, it's lack. And if you look at that word in any other language, it means white. Blanco in Spanish, and en français, blanc is white. Noir is black and negro is black in Spanish. Noir is black in French. So you got to think about something that small. Look at the dictionary. Dictionary, right? Dictionary tells you the definition of a word, but diction is how you pronounce a word. So the definition.
I'm sorry.
I'll slow it down.
No,
the dictionary tells you the definition of words, right? But diction means it talks about how you pronounce a word.
Yeah.
So why would they call it a dictionary when it's supposed to give a definition? Well, look at the word definition. It's depth of the nition, depth of the understanding of those. See, it's definition. Everything they've given you to speak over yourself is casting a spell on you. And
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
people don't know it. When you go to a wake, you are mourning the dead. This is why they say, don't say good morning, you have killed your day. Grandma used to say, rise and shine, mimic the sun. Rise and shine like the sun. They tell you to have a good morning. They tell you to say hello. Hell is low. It's all there. Now, if you don't want to pick up on it, you don't have to. But
it takes some intentionality to really think that through, though, because like we say it in habit, not realizing what we're speaking.
the hardest thing to do is to get rid of an idea that's been well planted in the brain. So whoever controls the mind controls the man. But that's so true.
Yeah.
Because whoever controls images controls the mind.
Right.
And that controls your action. So now you continue to be what they call a sheep or sheeple,
Yeah.
and you don't even know why. Sheep get led to the slaughter and not the altar. If we're from the tribe of Yehuda, Judah, we call it Yehuda because even look at the letter J. That just came in the English language in the 1500s. There's no letter J in the Hebrew language. If you are from the tribe of Yehuda and you a Hebrew and you a Shemite, there's no letter J in the Hebrew language. So how can you be Jewish or Judah when there's no J in the Hebrew language?
That's wild.
I'm just saying, so it's so drastic and it's so embedded into the fabric of people's thoughts and minds that when you tell them something to make them let go of tradition and open their hand to truth, they won't get it. But this is why it says that many are called, few are chosen. It's come on. It's only for the remnant.
Yeah.
It's only for the elect because everybody's called.
Yeah.
Hear me. Everybody's called, but everybody's not going to choose.
Everybody's not,
And especially now,
answering the call. Go ahead.
come on. We're in a technology age where everybody has access to a certain level of information. Money ain't power. Education is not power. Information is power.
Information is.
And if you get good information,
People perish for lack of.
not a lack of voting, not a lack of God doggone going to church.
Yep.
No, a lack of knowledge. Because to thine own self be true.
You coming in hot
I'm just saying.
already.
If you're not true to yourself, which you can only get self from the Most High God.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
Right.
So for me, it's very, very easy to break it down. But I always say, if you at the Chicken Academy and if you at the Eagle Academy and you're talking to people at the Chicken Institute, they're not going to hear what you're saying. This is why we cannot spread our pearls to the swine.
right.
But you can give some crumbs.
Yeah.
You can give a couple crumbs out there and let people, the eagles that are stuck down there being chickens, oh man, hold up, that does make sense. Let me spread my wings for real and fly and be who I was called to be. That's what's going on with our people. And there is a shift in consciousness. There's a bend. People are starting to recognize that we've been bamboozled. We've been lied to. They tell you to go to the library, not the true library. You hear me?
The library. Y'all catch that? The library.
We know it's so many lies in the textbooks, especially in the education system.
Yep.
Well, they told us the biggest lie. How can Christopher Columbus discover America when people are already here? That's a lie. That's why they tell you to go to the library. Right. So imagine the language is dead, the food is dead, the music is dead, the TV is dead, the government is dead. So then when you start speaking life to people who are used to consuming death, you look like you crazy. You look like you're too philosophical.
Right.
No,
Right.
I'm in alignment with truth.
Yep.
And it's very simple. God and nature are one. If you out of alignment with nature, you're out of alignment with the Most High God.
That's real.
Adam and Eve, I can't.
Wait, you getting ahead.
I ain't gonna say this. I ain't gonna say this. I'm gonna chill.
Because I got
Let me
questions.
chill. Let me chill. Go ahead. My bad.
All right, so because I want to stay on the wordplay for a second. Being that this is a show called Faith and Fame, I want to talk about the word faith. What does being a man of faith mean to you?
So I wrote a book called Greater Than the Game, my first book. And in that book, I had 7 + 1 F's: faith, family, fitness, finance, focus, forgiveness, and football. Wow. And those 7 F's helped me have a better future. Now, if I were to write that same book, the F wouldn't be faith, it would be foundation. Okay. Because when it comes to God, I don't have faith, nor do I believe that God is real. I know God is real.
You scared me for a second.
I know. I see.
You scared me.
No,
I was
see
like,
that.
no, don't say that.
No,
But I got you.
No, and I do that to a lot of people. They're like, what are you talking about? No. In the middle of the word belief is lie.
Yeah.
If we should know the truth and the truth shall make us free, why are we not free? Because we believe the lies.
Talk about it, Stevie.
That's sticking with the word playing and still giving us an opportunity to see why faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you have the evidence of Yah every day. Just take a breath. That's the evidence. So the evidence is there. And the things hoped for, you don't hope that oxygen appears. You know it's here.
Right.
So then we got to move. That verse is not talking about having faith that God is real. That verse is talking about maybe having faith that we're going to have a great month in business. I have faith that we're going to book and be number one on the call sheet.
Okay.
You feel me? But I can have faith in that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Most High,
Yeah.
I know.
That's a given.
I know.
We know that.
That's real. That's what
This is
faith
so
means
good.
to me.
I love it. All right, so because I want to make sure I'm taking advantage of our time together, we got to talk about just man talk, right? Do you think currently that men and women are at odds with one another?
I would say some.
Okay.
Most.
Talk to me.
Because most women and men are out of alignment with their divine nature.
Okay.
So women are acting as men and men are acting as women. Men are.
You keep getting ahead. I have another question.
I'm trying to answer.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you this too, because I want you to build it all together.
Okay.
There's this idea that men are causing women to become more masculine and vice versa. Women are causing men to become more feminine. What's your take on that? Give it.
And I think that's what's going on. When you have a people who don't consume the right food spiritually, then you turn around and you don't consume the right food physically, then you're going to be out of alignment with who your divine DNA stands for, divine natural attributes. You're going to be out of alignment with your divine natural attributes. You're going to do things that are unnatural. So the natural woman, she's emotion first, ego second. A man is ego first, emotion second.
Right.
Look at your anatomy and it will tell you that your anatomy is inner, a man's anatomy is outer.
Facts.
So when we're going against nature, we're going against the Most High with that. Now, spiritually, women are pulling their phallic out and men are pulling they out.
Wow.
So this is the spiritual warfare that's going on. But I think it gets deeper because we've been indoctrinated to think that marriage is a certificate or a ceremony or a ring. But marriage is when two become one. Two became one flesh.
Yes.
How many husbands do you have? How many wives do I really have? You were born before a birth certificate, right? You're going to die before a death certificate. So you were married before a marriage certificate. So the marriage is not based on a certificate, a ceremony, ring. Is based on connection and consummation.
Yeah.
So how many times have we really been married? So now you got to think about as a woman, especially our women,
How many husbands you got?
you're the carrier of the seed. And so you're the carrier of the spiritual energy that, boom, a spiritual soul tie for a woman is more intense than it is for a man because our phallic is out.
Right.
Yours is in.
Right.
So, but we still have to carry the same thing. But the problem with the men is, men, we give life. A woman gives birth. If I put my seed in messed up soil, what do you expect the harvest to be? So men, we got to do self-inventory to say, hold on, you fine, baby, but you're not refined. For me, you are cute, but you're not acute with the way that I look at information and process information. So then we're not going to be in alignment.
Right.
So when you just saying, oh, she fine, she got to walk, but you're not hearing her talk.
Yeah.
You just looking at that walk.
Yeah.
And you get in trouble. And it happened to me. Okay. And I'm talking to me.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm not casting my stone and throwing stones at anyone else.
Right.
I'm talking about the self-inventory that I do for me. See, most people don't want to do self-inventory. You can't call your baby mother crazy. She was who she was before you laid down with her, but you didn't have a discernment to see it because you was thinking with taste, touch, see, smell, and hear instead of intuition, discernment, and clairvoyance, which are invisible senses. They call it the third eye, but really it's your first eye. Your spiritual eye is your first eye. If you lead with your first eye, these two eyes can't be deceived. But if you lead with your two physical eyes, your spiritual eye can be deceived because the physical is an illusion. Period.
Y'all catching this? Preach, Stevie.
First, let me just interject this. First, society introduces, then they seduce you with concepts, then they reduce you, and then now you can't produce. They introduce, oh, it's okay to just do anything and accept anything, even if it goes against nature. They introduce it. Right. Then they seduce you with those ideas and those concepts. And then when they reduce you, there's no way that you can produce. Look at the state of our nation. We are not producing divine masculine men and women anymore. Right. We're producing what we see on IG and TikTok, right. In which we know that that's not the way of righteousness. Right. Everybody's right, but don't nobody want to be righteous. Everybody love to come, but they hate the kingdom. Did you catch that one? Yes, everybody hate the kingdom. They love to come, but they hate the kingdom.
Right. You preach.
And that's just, so like you said, our people perish for lack of knowledge.
Okay, so my follow-up question, because that was a lot. No, but that's what I wanted. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go from there. Do you think that, having said all you just said, that women are doing at least a decent job showing up for men the way that we should? Coming from a male, do you feel like women, just in general, are we showing up for men the way that we should?
No, because
now be prepared, because I'm gonna flip it.
I got it. Because the whole thing is designed for you not to show up. The whole thing is designed for you to be INDEPEND. The whole thing is designed for you to be to the left, to the left. I'm bossed up. I'm a boss beat. Like, that's what the whole thing is designed for you to do. Okay, so now, no, how can they show up when everything that they're consuming is telling them to do that and live that? And you married, quote unquote, or got a man, but you on the internet with your pushing P, with your showing your booty to the side. What righteous man you think is gonna wanna be with you when you pushing P like that and you saying you married? You're married, but you're posing and you showing your booty. How? Right. Why would a man want to accept that? Men, they definitely are out of alignment. It's the men's fault. It's the Most High Yah. It's man, woman, and child. So because the men are out of order, now the women, because there's no it's a lack of divine masculine men, the women have to feel like they have to pull their masculinity out. Yep. So I really come back to us, because when we get in order and we get in alignment and we stand on business, then the woman has to adhere to that. There's a natural order. A woman wants to be.
Stevie, let me tell you, I say this all the time.
Okay.
I cannot wait for the day that I can submit to my husband. So all this talk about women don't submit, it's about your leadership and trusting that you're leading me to the right destination. But I look forward to the day I can submit to the right man, the right leader. So I'm all for submission.
Yeah. Your frequency is what you frequently see. So if you're frequently seeing a man or that's not in alignment with your assignment, then that's when we got to do more inner work. If I'm frequently running into women that don't process information or vibrate on my frequency, then I need to do the work. Because you're going to attract who you are. People say, oh, I'm a healer, so I attract people. Nah, man. Two things can be true. But what I'm saying is, if you want something, anything, you want healing, right? Most people wait for the healing to show gratitude instead of recognizing that when you show gratitude, that's when healing begins. If you want a man, if you want the man or the woman that you want, so you have to walk in gratitude and you have to already be that. And when you're being that, that energy shows up in your life, you know, and I'm telling you, when I say I'm talking to myself, the field emits to the matter. The matter does not emit to the field. You get what I'm saying with that? The spiritual world controls the physical world. The physical world should not dictate what the spiritual world does. Right. But what happens is we get so enamored with what's going on in the 3D that we are not in harmony in the spirit. Oh, I booked the role. Now I'm up. Oh man, it's a strike. Now I'm down. Oh man, busy. Oh, your relationship. Are you mad? And your children and boom, boom. So you're all over the place. And as opposed to saying, no, let me stay in homeostasis. Let me stay in stealth mode. Let me stay in harmony in the spirit, no matter what's going on in the physical. That's how I stay in alignment. That's how you show the Most High that you're ready for whatever comes your way. That's stewardship.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And that's honestly the season that I'm in right now. Because of the strike, as you know, we're talking about entertainment later, but yeah, that's the season that I'm in. And it's been the most rewarding thing spiritually for me. Physically, economically, it's not at the same level.
So
but once again, me showing the gratitude and showing the stewardship during this season is what ushers that energy to come back. And now when it comes back, it's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The amount of people you can help now.
Yeah.
The amount of money you can just give away because you it's always coming.
Right.
So I want to shift a little bit, but before we jump to entertainment, I want to ask this last question, just from a man's perspective. What's your opinion or take on marriage right now? The state of marriage? Why so many relationships are failing? Marriage, more importantly, marriages are failing. People are less likely to get married or pushing away or kind of shying away from marriage. What do you think about that? What's your take?
I think when you are a covenant people and you are basing your perspective on contract and you getting your perspective from people who give you a contract, then you're gonna never be in alignment. We are covenant people. We're not a contractual people. The son doesn't go off of a contract. If the son went off a contract, the son would say, hey God, I need a raise. Or I'm not gonna come out today and shine.
Right.
The son deals on covenant. So the sun gonna rise. So when we start to look at life from a covenant perspective instead of a contractual perspective, we will be back in alignment with the right assignment.
I love that. Talk your talk, Stevie. All right, now we can pivot to our entertainment talk. So much is going on. All right, we're post-strike now, almost 2 years. The industry has just not been the same. You got all the stuff going down with Diddy, okay, in the music industry. Now we got the LA fires. The industry right now, the industry as we've known it thus far, is not the same. Before we jump to all that, let me just ask you this, because you are a working actor. How do you navigate being an actor and working in entertainment as a man of faith?
It's very easy for me because I'm not going to contradict my convictions for a check. I'm not chasing paper, I'm chasing purpose. So at the end of the day, you will never see me put on a dress. You will never see me kiss a man because I'm convicted on that. Now, those are people who do that, that's their prerogative. But I'm not, as in me at my house, I'm not on that. And if anybody, when people want to talk about rights, if I should have the right to still work if I'm not in alignment with that. Talk about rights. But once again, people only care about rights if they don't care about righteousness.
Go back to it.
And it's just there. So yeah, I know that the entertainment industry is struggling, but it's struggling because I think that there's a major shift. The veil has been lifted in a lot of ways, and people are seeing it for what it is. I've often called Hollywood television because it tells lies and visions that are not real. And but at the end of the day, there are so many good people and creatives and hair and makeup and a crew that work in these industries. I mean, I met some of the most divine people on set, right? But those aren't the people who are making the decisions a lot of the times on what's being projected, the images that are being projected to the people. And so I think that that's changing. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So we have to understand that and understand that. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So if you think that an industry has been wicked or is wicked, well, just know that trouble don't last always.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a shift happening, and it's happening fast, and we have to be ready and willing to adhere to that. If you don't go through the fire, then you can't come out refined.
Yeah.
You remember I was talking about that? We shared, right? Me showing you.
Yes,
That's
you
just
did.
the allegory of it all.
You did.
That's the physical allegory of it all.
Yeah.
You know, You got to go through the fire. You got to get in Jonah's. You got to get in the belly of a whale and being swallowed up by your circumstances, being swallowed up by your situation. You got to face the predators like Daniel did in the lion's den. Everything we do in our life is we're facing predators.
That's right.
So how do you get out of that lion's den? How do you fight through like Job when your family gets killed and your wealth gets taken away, but you still in alignment to your, you know what I'm saying, your creator? Right. So there's verses that tell you if your eye causes you to sin, plug it out. But that don't mean I'm gonna really take my eye out.
Right. It's cut off the thing that's causing you to sin. But
there you go. So
I got you.
You know, when you go through those glitches in life, they're to make you stronger. Yeah. Adversity turns into advantage. Test turns to testimony. Mess turns to message. Tragedy turns to triumph. Turmoil turns to tranquility. Yeah. And that's very poetic, but you've never seen a story where someone just jumped out of the womb on the mountaintop and they never had to go through anything. Right. I don't care if you brought up in a castle or in the ghetto, you're going to have to face trials and tribulations. So
speaking on trials and tribulations, because we know obviously being working entertainers is quiet right now. Talk about that journey or experience for you personally since the strike.
Foreclosure on one of my rental properties. I had to turn in my bus. I had a 28 passenger bus that I rented out to all the production companies. So I wasn't just eating off of as being an actor. I had a business in here, a real logistics company. If I didn't book a role, I was still straight for the year. Right. So imagine, not just one stream, 2 streams, your income hit. And I'm a speaker. That was one of my businesses that was number 1 on the call sheet in my life. Well, when COVID hit, that took a hit because speaking was just not the same. Yeah. My question is, what is the Most High trying to show you? Whenever I face things like that in my life, I know that there's a warning or a lesson. Because in school, you get the lesson, then you get the test. In life, you get the test, then the lesson. Right. So what is the lesson in it for me so that...
What are you trying to show me, God?
What are you showing me? So now, okay, sit still. When you sit still, you can hear from the Most High. It's hearing is greater than listening. Because when you hear, it's connected to your heart. That's why it's H-E-A-R-T. It's hear. Through your ear, through your heart, you have to hear what the Most High is trying to reveal to you. And what it was revealing to me was that I had to be more grounded and more convicted in righteousness. Even though I'm already walking that path, no, you got to do it more because of who you are and what you stand for. You have to be even more of a man of integrity. When things are when things are not going well, are you going to take a shortcut or are you going to stay disciplined? You see what I'm saying? Like that's what it's showing me, because if you take shortcuts in the valley, you're for sure going to take shortcuts at the mountaintop.
One thing I always ask myself, Brittney, who are you going to be when it hurts? Who are you going to be when it hurts? We know who you are when everything's popping and great, but when it hurts, how are you showing up?
Well, let me tell you, to me, it's easier to be meek and grounded in the valley than on the mountaintop. A man is tested by the praise he receives. This is Proverbs. A man is tested most by the praise he receives. So when you on the mountaintop, are you going to keep the same discipline that you kept in the valley to get you on the mountaintop? No, man, I'm making that cheese now, man. I'm gonna stop going to the gym at 5:36, 7 a.m. You see what I'm saying? My habits start to change. And the only thing that separates a successful person from a failure is habits. Because the same things that failures don't like to do, successful people don't necessarily like to do them either. They just get in the habit of doing it. So your habits create your habitat.
Yep, I feel a little conviction creeping in.
This is just self-inventory, beloved. It's the greatest inventory on the planet, because I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me. Your habitat is determined by your habits. Yeah. So what are your habits? I'm like, okay, well then I gotta change my habits. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You don't get in trouble for what you need, you get in trouble for what you want. That's a bar. You know what I'm saying, sis? When we start to recognize that, then it's like, but see, society tells us to get the biggest house and the biggest car and the biggest this and the most that. Well, and I remember I pulled up in a Bentley, and I remember this brother told me, man, you too country to drive a Bentley. And I'm like, man, what you mean? Well, like, nah. And I think because of what you stand for and what you represent, and when certain people see it, they don't look at it like that, because they don't. But when it's dawned on me, and I've said this a long time ago, but I didn't understand it or understand it the way I do now. When you a walking Bentley, you ain't got to drive one. And a lot of people have Bentley entitlement,
Yeah.
but Honda Civic stewardship. You got mansion entitlement, but you got Holiday Inn stewardship. So how you gonna live in a mansion and drive a Bentley when you won't take care of your Honda or take care of your apartment? So when you start to do that, then now you start to clean out the things that you don't need. I mean, that you don't need, and you like, okay, that's what that is.
Yeah.
And then when you do come back and you do get those things, now that doesn't get in the way of your relationship with your assignment,
Right.
your purpose.
Right.
That's what
The attachment to it doesn't define you, right? This is good.
the power. This is one of the greatest things I learned too during this time. The power of release is better than the power of possession.
Yeah.
So when I open my hands, not only can I release what I don't need, but I can always be open to receive more.
Receive. That's right.
See what I'm saying? But when we've been taught to grip and hold on to things that don't even really mean anything,
Hold on to certain
you
stuff.
nothing can
Circulation
get
off.
and nothing can get in.
Yep. That's it.
If I squeeze your arm, at first you might, boy, that feels good. It feels like, but after a while, your circulation.
Get up off of me now.
Come on. So that's what's going on in life.
Yeah.
We're squeezing certain things and we don't even understand. Sometimes you're cutting it off from really happening because, see, the quantum world, the spiritual world, does not know subconsciously when you experience something in the physical realm. You know the feeling you get when your agent calls you, hey, B, you just booked it, girl. Boom. So you know that feeling that runs through your energy system. That feeling, imagine giving yourself that feeling every day without them having to call you to tell you, man, I love you. Look in the mirror. You're amazing.
Yeah.
There is no lack. And you really mean that. And then when you tell yourself, I love you, make it feel like the man that you love the most telling that to you. Make it feel that way.
Yeah.
And man, like, whoa, that's self-love for real.
I love that.
Yeah.
Talking.
Nah, I couldn't tell you this, sis, if I didn't practice this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be I don't talk about anything that I don't practice.
But it's evident on you.
Well, I received that and I appreciate that, beloved,
Yeah.
for real. Now I'm doing everything in my power to do that work that needs to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Let's go back to the industry a little bit. Some people would argue, depending on who you're talking to, that things like these LA fires, we see what's going down with Diddy and a lot of people being exposed, is that this is just symbolic of God is not pleased. Would you agree? And what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think I would agree. And I think that, like I said earlier, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So if anything, it'll let the youth know to not be so enamored with a celebrity or an actor or somebody running up and down a football field or a basketball court. To not be enamored with a pastor or a person in a pulpit. Look at that word pulpit. They pulling you into a pit instead of lifting God up. We'll get on that another time. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for us to take inventory of the things that most people in society hold in high regard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you better not mess with my favorite actor, man. You better not mess with my favorite singer or rapper.
These pedestals we've put people on.
That means that you created an idol before me. So what we talking about?
These are idols, exactly.
So nah, man, I don't have an American Idol, a British Idol. No. I go straight to the idol of all idols.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
So with that being said, do you foresee the industry ever getting back to normal, whatever normal is? Prior to the strike, prior to the fires, I mean, because it's changed drastically. Do you feel like it'll ever come back to normal or be the same again?
I don't think it will. I think it was already inevitable for it to change. When you bring the OTT platforms into play, when you bring Hulu, Netflix, Amazon into play, that already threw a wrench in there. And then when you bring AI into play, that throws another wrench in the game. So now you have all of this. And us as actors, I honestly, we went in solidarity with the writers, but I don't honestly believe that it really helped us out as actors, especially economically. And I'm just speaking on it because I'm just looking at how it worked.
Yeah.
You know, and what did we gain? I knew that maybe the AI thing was a big thing for a lot of people, but I don't know necessarily what we gained per se, right? But hopefully in the back end or something that I wasn't privy to is helping us, right? You know, and I'm not trying to shoot down the strike and people that wanted to fight for more, like the writers and everything. But I just didn't see it as an actor. Gotcha. And I've been back to work since the strike, and I didn't see a drastic change for the better in my work environment than I did before the strike.
It's the same for me. Coming back to work, it was the exact same.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to other fellow actors in this current state that we're in? Whether new actor or a veteran like yourself.
You know, the more you know what you don't know. So you better always be open to receive information. Yeah. You know, everything is an acting class. Everything. Like, I don't really go to acting classes in a traditional sense because I feel like when you interact with people in real life, if you can't be genuine during that interaction, you'll never be genuine on camera. Yep. So because most people are so disingenuine, when they get in front of a camera, their genuine energy can't even project through to the camera, to screen.
And we can see that.
And you can see that clearly. So that's one of the advice. But as far as like getting into this industry right now at this state,
would you recommend it? Or would you say if there's anything else you're passionate about, go that route?
I would say you always have to be diverse in what you're doing. Right. Some people say stick to one thing and ride it out to the end. I don't follow that. I know that if the Most High if I'm a multidimensional person, why would I only just do one thing? Right. So that's what I would say.
That's the thing. That's one of my favorite quotes. At the end of this life, when I stand before God, I would hope to not have anything to give back to him. And I can say I used every gift, every talent, everything you gave me, I used it. And not just, I was only an actor, I was only this or that. No, I used everything.
And I think that's what it is, right? I think that when you that's making your dash count, as they say. You know, the number before you die, the dash, and then the number, that's really making your dash count, if you ask me.
I love that. I love that. Stevie brought the heat. We're going to shift. At the end of every episode, I like to do what's called an elevator sermon. And it's basically, we get in the elevator. We might be quick to pitch our business. I need an investor for this and this and that. But how often do we stop to pitch an encouraging word, lend some support, whatever the case may be? And so I would love for you to just speak to, maybe it's the young man really wanting to get into acting, or maybe just trying to find some sense of purpose, or maybe I want to work on my wordplay and the things that I speak, whatever's on your heart. But I want you to speak to the audience and give us a word.
The first thing that comes to my mind, it would be to tell young men. The first thing that comes to my mind would be to tell young men to protect your seed. When you protect your seed, you will protect your soul. Young ladies, protect your virtue. If we start operating in that perspective, then we'll live a better life. So, young men, protect your seed at all costs. Young women, young ladies, protect your virtue. If you don't know what it is, go look it up.
I love that. Short and sweet. I love it. Thank you for joining me. I had no doubt you was gonna bring it, but you brought it.
Reflection.
I love that.
No, I love this platform.
Thank you.
Faith and fame.
Faith
right?
and fame.
Come on, man.
Doing it for the kingdom.
Y'all make sure y'all go like, subscribe, and share this information for my sister, man. It's real. She's doing a real work to help people, and that's what it's about.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Shalom.
Well, y'all, that concludes another episode of Faith and Fame. Like he said, make sure you go like the video, share it with your family, your friends, subscribe, and lock in with us. Until next time, peace.
And power.